Hey everybody, welcome back to another Who Are We episode. My name is Catrice Roots, the creator of this series, and today we're going to be talking about Fats Waller. Some of y'all may actually have noticed him in my intro. I have him symbolizing the Harlem Renaissance era in my intro timeline. Anyways, roll that intro. Before we get started on Fats Waller life, I just want to do a backstory. Now, y'all know when I do a backstory, that means that somebody in their family is from Virginia. So this one's an interesting backstory, and it's a good lead up to the main story. So here we go on the backstory. I'm going to try to go through it real fast. This is going to be a long episode within itself. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3. His father, Edward Martin Waller, and his mother, Adeline Lockett Waller, were born and raised in Virginia not too long after the Civil War. They lived in the Bermuda Hundred area, which today is known as the Tidewater in Central Virginia area now. Shoot, they probably could be right up the street from where I live. Who knows? Edward and Adeline got married when they were 16 and moved to New York. They moved to New York for more job opportunity, and they wanted their children to have the best education possible because Virginia was not given that. So that's why they moved to New York. Due to Edward already having experiences with like working with horses in Virginia. Okay, he might have actually worked with some of my family members because my family members worked with horses and stuff. But anyways, due to Edward having that previous experience working with horses while, being in Virginia, once he moved to New York, he immediately got a job working with horses. And then he eventually was able to save up enough money to buy his own wagon, his own horses. That's like owning a pickup truck for farming now. Anyways, he was able to have his own wagon, his own horses, and with all that, able to start his own trucking business in New York during that time area. That's rare to see, a black-owned business, trucking business. That's what's up. And on top of that, he was a deacon. I'm going by the book that Fats Waller's son wrote, Maurice Waller wrote. Based on Fats Waller and the family life and all that type of stuff. So in the book, it says Fats Waller dad was a deacon. But if I go on any website that talks about Fats Waller parents, it says his father was a minister. So I don't know. Deacon, minister, one of the two. Adeline was very much so musically inclined. It was word that she was a really good singer, hence to why Fats really liked music because his mom really liked singing, and on top of that, his mom really encouraged him when nobody else really wouldn't. Like, his mom was one of the very first people to really encourage him to play the piano and do what he loved to do with music. Now, that's the whole backstory. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes and the gravy and the biscuits and the mac and cheese and the what else? Fats Waller life. So he was born May 21st, 1904 in New York. Hold up. New York. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, his real name. Now look. Okay, so like when you look up a celebrity or you're a fan of a celebrity, but you only know their stage name, and then when you look up their real name, it kind of throws you off because they don't look like their real name. Like, they look like the name that you thought in your head of what their name could be, their real name could be. That's how it was with me with Fats Waller. It's like, this whole time I just thought of him as Fats Waller, and then when I looked up his real name, I was like, Thomas. He looks like a Earl or a Jeff or a Billy or a Charles. But Thomas, I was like, oh my gosh. And it was throwing me off for a little bit. But anyways, his real name is Thomas Wright Waller. And, growing up, kids in the neighborhood would make fun of him because he was fat, and they would call him Fat. So he just took that name and used it as a stage name as Fats Waller because he was like, well, I am fat, and I'm not going to change that. I'm going to keep on eating. So that's what he did. Very brave, very bold for doing that. making fashion statements over here, Fats Waller. Anyways, he was like, I'm going to, he was like one of your very first like body positivity people. He was like, I'm going to embrace my fatness. I don't know why y'all are making fun of me over it. Anyways, and that's what he did. Throughout his childhood, alongside with learning the piano, he also learned how to play the reed organ, the string bass, and the violin. So, hey, his parents moved up to New York to provide their children with a good education, and it worked. That was until Fats decided to drop out of school at the age of 15, and he became an organist for the Lincoln Theater in Harlem. So, I mean, at least he had a backup plan, you know. And back then, I mean, people were dropping out of school like it was nothing. Like, people, they took education seriously, but they didn't take it too seriously. It was more of like, I gotta survive and make money. And also, according to Fats Waller in this book, Fats Waller even said, there's not enough rhythm in algebra. So he left. That's so funny. Oh my God. Like, I wish I could have told my geometry teacher that. Like, there's not enough rhythm in geometry. I'm going over to music class downstairs. Anyways, throughout his teenage years, Fats would always struggle with his father wanting him to follow in his footsteps and become a minister and play music for the Lord. And don't get me wrong, Fats, he liked playing gospel music, stuff like that, you know, because he grew up under his mom singing in his church. Both of his parents were very religious, so he always had respect towards, you know, his beliefs and stuff that he grew up under. But he did not want to be no minister, and his dad kept on kind of like force him to be something that he envisioned instead of just accepting his son for what his son wanted to do until later on. But anyways, but we'll get to that later. But anyways, his father was like, why don't you be a minister? So he's like, no, I want to play jazz music. Let me read these compositions. Anyways, after the death of Fats Waller mother, that's when Fats Waller really started to indulge more into music because, like I said, like his mother was one of the very first people that was always so proud of him, always used to motivate him to make music and stuff like that. And after she passed away, that really messed with him, so he got more into music. And then with his dad, like the more he got into jazz music, the more his dad was like, stop. Like, if you're not gonna make gospel music or be a preacher, like don't do music. And Fats was like, no, I like jazz music. So the debates eventually started turning into arguments, and Fats had to move out because it was getting too annoying. So anyways, but I will say towards the end, you know, they did get along. After Fats moved out, after one particular argument that I guess really made him upset with his dad, he moved out at the age of 16 and moved in with the family of pianist Russell B.T. Brooks, and eventually he introduced Fats to James P. Johnson, who is the founder of the stride jazz piano style of playing and stuff like that. Although Fats was a prodigy pretty much with playing the piano and the organ, and also really good at performing and using those, let me see, I can't do it, but doing those facial expressions that was way before its time. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I've seen people do facial expressions like that on Vine. I've never seen somebody in the 1930s do these type of facial expressions. But anyways, like with Fats being very experienced with the piano, organ, and doing these signature facial expressions that he knew that it got people's attention. That's why he did it. That was like his signature thing. There was still one thing missing, and James P. Johnson, aka the Lion, was the one to teach Fats how to play stride. And once Fats got that stride piano jazz style, stride jazz piano style playing, it was get out the way, move, get out the way, get it. Like, it was like he had it. Like he was good to go, you know. And then on top of that, with Fats' hands already being huge, You know, I'm not making fun of him, I'm dead serious. Like, his hands were already big and he had these long fingers. So it's like he could already hit notes, like keys that normal people with short hands like me cannot reach whatsoever. Fats, he could already do that. So along with him learning stride, oh my gosh, it was over. It was over for these other piano playing shorthand people like me. What? It was over. Anyways, once Fats grew as a musician, once he had all the elements he needed that made him who we all know of him today as, once he got all those elements, like the Avatar, The Last Airbender, he grew as big as Bojangles, as his friend Bojangles and his friend Cab Calloway. He grew as big as them during the Harlem Renaissance era. And, you know, and it's just so ironic how I was researching, because I researched all three of these people, and I'm like, it's something how all three of them had ties to Virginia, and all three of them came across each other's path and became friends. It was like as if it was destiny. Like they were meant to be friends. They were like the first Rat Pack before the Rat Pack even existed. Some of Fat's most well-known tracks, you know, This Joint Is Jumping. That sounds like a track, a 90s track. This joint jumping, man. Yeah. Anyways,
This joint is jumping, really jumping. Come and catch your hands. I beat this joint is jumping.
He got a song called This Joint Is Jumping. He got the track Ain't Misbehaving, which obviously if you've seen the movie Stormy Weather, you've actually seen Fats Waller in there. He's the one that performs on that piano. I've got footage of it in here. I don't know why I'm even...
Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you, for you, for you, for you.
Anyways, you know, he got the song Ain't Misbehaving. He got the song Your Feet's Too Big, which is the weirdest music video I've ever seen, especially with the women doing this. I'm like, what is this? This is like some nightmare fueling type stuff with that dance. That was kind of scary to me, but most random song I've ever heard. Like, that's another thing I like about musicians back then. They could make a song out of anything compared to nowadays where it's always songs about the same stuff. It's like back then, literally Fats made a song about his friend's feet being too big and him being disgusted with it. So he made a song about it.
From your ankles up you sure need, yes, but from that down's exactly too much feet. Yes, your feet's too big. Can't stand you 'cause your feet's too big.
What else you got? You got Honeysuckle Rose, and you got just a whole bunch of other songs. That's another thing about Fats. Like, although Fats passed away at the age of 39, which I am like, whoa. I thought he was maybe like 50, because he looked 50 something, but no, he was actually 39 when he passed away due to pneumonia. It's crazy, like he passed away right after he finished filming his part in like the Stormy Weather, like right after that movie was completed. Like, he was on his way home from filming that movie, and I'm like, dude, like, anyways, he passed away of pneumonia at the age of 39. However, during those years when he was alive, he was really on the grind because he made, like, he has a huge body of work, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and all of his work will never go unknown. I mean, it's songs that have, change the perception of jazz music, you know, and improve jazz music. So it's never gonna go unknown. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Fats Waller. Thank you for all your works you did, you know, and just making a great contribution towards the Black community with showing like you can beat the odds no matter what. You know, you could be overweight, had dropped out of school, and just be an incredible piano player and just beat the odds, you know. Me personally, I kind of look at him as like the first Heavy D, because reading the book, I know his son also mentioned that, even though his son has said something along the lines of like, my dad was a big man, but he was very light on his feet. So I'm like, he was very much like a Heavy D type of image during that era, Fats Waller was. And on top of all that, even though Fats Waller name, like stage name is Fats Waller, do not take him like this was a serious musician. He was literally a prodigy. Like he was a serious musician. Any musician that studies compositions and is a fan of George Gershwin like Fats Waller was, that lets you know that they're a serious musician. And on top of that, he was a black man that was able to perform as a main act at Carnegie Hall during the 1930s, like I think 1930s or 40s. That is rare during that time period, like to be a main act at Carnegie Hall. And on top of that, you got to travel overseas and perform at a lot of historical places. So yes, he was a very serious musician. And it's sad because when he tried to like be serious and play some serious like compositions, people in the audience were like mad disrespectful. They were like, do some of your facial expressions, bro. Sing this song, bro. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Oh man, that's gotta be it. I would have fought somebody. I would have threw my shoe at one of them people. Anyways, like, shut up, sit down, listen to me. Anyways, bonus fact. This is one of my favorite facts about Fats Waller, sad to say. Other than him being a serious musician, like found out how serious he really took music. This is one of my other favorite facts about him, is that he was kidnapped by Al Capone's crew in Chicago, obviously. You know, he was kidnapped by them and they blindfolded him and they was like, get in the car, get in the freaking car, sit your big self down, get in the car. And they got him in the car and then, I don't know if they, but I know they pointed a gun at him and they blindfolded him and they told him get in the car. Anyways, I just added the extra stuff. But anyways, he got in the car, you know, got in there, all blindfolded. He's like, where am I at? What's going, you know, I don't, and anyways, he probably had a conversation. So how's your day? Weather is nice today, while he was riding in the car. I don't know. Anyways, he ended up somewhere. He don't know where because he was blindfolded. Anyways, when they took the blindfold off, there he was, Al Capone. And so pretty much what it was, Al Capone's crew was being very thoughtful. You know, they were like, you know, our boss, he deserves to have his favorite celebrity come and perform for him for his birthday because it was Al Capone's birthday, you know. And so what happened was Al Capone's crew was like, let's get Fats Waller. Like, we know Al Capone's a huge fan of Fats, so let's just kidnap him and bring him to Al Capone's birthday party. And so that's what they did. And Al Capone's like, oh my God, it's Fats, oh my God. Or he was like, oh my God, it's Fats, bro, oh man. So, and then, you know, and so they talked, I guess, and then he had Fats perform songs. They had a piano there, and Fats was like, just give me some food and some alcohol, and I'll perform whatever you need me to perform. And so they gave him food, alcohol, and they gave him a ton of money. Like, for each song that he performed for Al Capone was just throwing him stacks on stacks of money. And he was like, oh, thank you, I need this. And so ever since then, Fats and Al Capone, they had a decent dynamic with each other. And Fats was like, well, if I wouldn't mind getting kidnapped again if it's gonna be like that. So, but that's like one of my like favorite stories. I'm like, man, it's so crazy that it seems like something out of a sitcom or something. Like, it don't even seem real. But guys, y'all gotta read the book that Fats Waller's son Maurice Waller wrote. It is awesome. It keeps you just wanting to read more. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot stop flipping the pages or swiping the pages like I did on my phone. Anyways, you know, definitely go and purchase that book because it's not a lot of information on Fats Waller because due to him like passing away so young, he passed away before they could really get video interviews of him and stuff like that, like a lot of other well-known black celebrities. So this book is really going to give you a lot of insight on Fats Waller as a musician, family life, you know, his parents' life, you know, and just other random interesting stories like getting kidnapped by Al Capone. There's other stories in there that's very interesting too. And also it even shows you his compositions and stuff like that of his songs and everything. So it's a really good book. But yeah, so that's Fats Waller for you. See you guys in the next episode.